Hello everyone. Today I'm going to answer the question, in the Old Testament, does God prohibit killing or command it? Over the years, various critics of the Bible have raised objections regarding the fact that in the Old Testament, God commanded the Israelites to kill the Canaanites and the other heathen nations that occupied the land that was promised to Israel. One objection in particular that's been raised regarding this issue is the claim that God commanding the Israelites to kill the Canaanites and the other heathen nations contradicts one of his commandments, namely the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill," Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. So how do we reconcile this passage with passages like Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 16 through 18, which says, "But of the cities of these people, which the Lord thy God doth give thee for an inheritance, thou shalt save alive nothing that breatheth, but thou shalt utterly destroy them, namely the Hittites, and the Amorites, the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that they teach you not to do after all their abominations, which they have done unto their gods. So should ye sin against the Lord your God." Or Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 1 through 6, which says, "When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars, and break down their images, and cut down their groves, and burn their graven images with fire." Now, don't these passages contradict Exodus chapter 20, verse 13, and therefore prove that there is an inconsistency? No, they don't. There's no inconsistency at all. What we have here is a false equivalency. The truth is, as counterintuitive as it may sound at first, not all killing is equal. That is to say, not all killing is the same. There's actually different types of killing. To start with, there's accidental killing, which the Bible addresses in Deuteronomy chapter 19, verses 1 through 10. There's also justified killing, which can take on a few different forms, such as self-defense and capital punishment. And then there's intentional unjustified killing, which of course is murder. And murder, which is the intentional unjustified killing of another, is what Exodus chapter 20, verse 13 prohibits. But the destruction of the Canaanites is not an example of murder, but rather it's an example of God's judgment. God didn't arbitrarily order Israel to destroy the Canaanites and the other heathen nations. The Bible makes it very clear that God had reasons for ordering Israel to bring destruction on the Canaanites and the other heathen nations that occupied the promised land. Let's take a look at those reasons. Leviticus chapter 18, verses 5 through 25 says, "Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father, or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or of thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. For theirs is thine own nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister, she is thy father's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife, she is thine aunt. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law, she is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife, it is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter, neither shalt thou take her son's daughter, or her daughter's daughter, to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswomen. It is wickedness. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister, to vex her, to uncover her nakedness, beside the other in her lifetime. Also thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife, to defile thyself with her. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. Neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not lie with mankind, as with womankind. It is abomination. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast, to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things. For in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you, and the land is defiled. Therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. So as you can see, this passage makes it abundantly clear that God didn't arbitrarily order the destruction of the heathen nations that occupied the promised land, but rather he did it to punish them for the atrocious sins that they had committed, such as homosexuality, bestiality, child sacrifice, and so on. However, God did not order the Israelites to murder the heathen nations that occupied the promised land. Remember, murder is the intentional, unjustified killing of another. But of course, the destruction that Israel brought on these nations was not unjustified, because it was God's righteous judgment, God's righteous capital punishment. God judged these nations for the sins they committed. Now, if someone wants to say that they don't believe in God, or that they don't believe the Bible is the Word of God, they can choose to do that. But what they can't do is claim that the Bible contradicts itself regarding this issue. According to the Bible, God is the judge of all the earth. He is holy and just. He will not allow injustices to go unpunished. A man will reap what he sows. And also according to the Bible, these nations committed horrific injustices, even to the point of sacrificing their own children. Therefore, God brought justice upon them. There is no contradiction or inconsistency here. It is true that all murder involves killing, but not all killing involves murder. The Hebrew word for kill that is used in Exodus chapter 20, verse 13, refers to murder in that particular context. It doesn't refer to all forms of killing. Murder is prohibited in both the Old and New Testament. It is 100% wrong to murder someone. However, the Bible does not prohibit all forms of killing. For instance, the Bible doesn't prohibit capital punishment killing, nor does it prohibit self-defense killing. The confusion arises when people read the word kill in a particular passage and assume that it refers to murder, which is absolutely erroneous. It's a fact that not all killing is murder. We see this truth exemplified and pointed out in the Bible as well as in society. Therefore, it is imperative for all of us to endeavor to properly exegete passages. In conclusion, let me answer the question we began the discussion with. In the Old Testament, does God prohibit killing or command it? He prohibits the type of killing which is murder. But at times in the Old Testament, he commanded the type of killing that involves dispensing justice, which is capital punishment killing. However, regarding the killing of the Canaanites and the other heathen nations that occupied the Promised Land, it's important to keep in mind that some of the language that's used in the passages pertaining to this matter may be hyperbolic rather than literal. For example, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 1 through 2 says, "When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them." And verse 3 says, "Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son." In verse 2, Israel is commanded to smite and utterly destroy these nations. And in verse 3, Israel is commanded to not make marriages with these nations. Now, if Israel was supposed to literally wipe these nations out, then why would the Lord prohibit Israel from entering into marriages with them? They certainly couldn't enter into marriages with them if they were wiped out. So it may be the case that the words utterly destroy them are hyperbolic. In any case, the Lord did not command the Israelites to murder these nations. but rather he commanded the Israelites to carry out his judgment against these nations for the reasons stated in Leviticus chapter 18, verses 5 through 25. Furthermore, let me point out what we've established during this discussion. We have established that there are different types of killing. We have also established that not all types of killing are prohibited in Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. We've also established that Exodus chapter 20, verse 13 prohibits the type of killing which involves murder. And we have also established that the Lord did not order the Israelites to murder the heathen nations that occupied the promised land, but rather he ordered them to carry out his righteous judgment for the horrendous sins that those nations had committed, which included child sacrifice. We also established that God does not command murder in the Old Testament. But there are examples in the Old Testament of God ordering capital punishment, and capital punishment was established in Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. So as I stated earlier, there is no contradiction or inconsistency here. Well guys, that's it for this video, so please let me know what you think, and remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.